Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630. WMAL.
Good morning. It is 6:37. It is Wilson and Ham in the house today. Brian Neiman taking some well-deserved time off, a week of August vacation like many people. I think it really was timed perfectly. He last seen running from the station saying, "I can't take this debate anymore. I've had all I can stand." Well, listen, as we talk about this debt deal that apparently has been negotiated between leaders and the White House, yet to go through the House or Senate, we thought it might be a good idea to check in with our good friend Grover NORQUIST over at the Americans for Tax Reform to see exactly where he is on all of this. Grover, really we only have bullet points and a PowerPoint presentation from John Boehner that was released late last night. But as you look at it, what's your first blush take on this?
Well, it starts off by saying there won't be tax increases, and for 7 months, the smartest people in Washington explained that of course you had to have tax increases. We needed to do something just like 1982 and 1990, where you had tax increases and pretend spending cuts. So, 1, no tax increases. 2, it appears, again, you're right, it's not written down. It is written down, but it's not finalized completely. It appears that the spending cuts are real, that there are caps and mechanisms to make them stay real. And we have set 2 precedents. 1, no tax increases when you get into budget deals to reduce spending. If the goal is to reduce spending, you reduce spending. Raising taxes is what politicians do when they don't want to cut spending. The second is, and this is very, very new, we've never had a rule that said if you wish to increase the debt ceiling, you must reduce spending by a same dollar amount over the next few years. In the past, Republicans or Democrats have said, you need a debt ceiling increase. We insist on some policy tweak here or there. We make you pay for it. We attack you for it. We call you names. But there's now a dollar amount. I don't think that the Boehner Principle that was established will ever change, whether it's a Republican or Democrat president.
Let me ask you this. So it sounds like you're very favorably impressed with what has been negotiated. Why do you think so many in the Tea Party, and we've talked to some of them on the air this morning, and I respect their opinion, but they don't like the deal. They don't feel like it goes far enough. What do you say to those folks?
Well, at one point, the answer to that is, does this end Obama's overspending? No, it doesn't. Does this bring a balanced budget amendment, tomorrow morning or 2 years from now? No, it doesn't. But we were careening down a hill and over a cliff at 100 miles an hour, and we're slowing down to the point where we can begin to reverse course. Some people, again, Tea Party people kind of by definition are people who got involved in politics recently, scared by Obama's overspending. They didn't seem to know the difference between Republicans and Democrats 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. When it first came up, your first reaction was, have you been paying attention? Did you just notice that the government was spending too much money now? Well, the answer was yes. They were busy doing other things. And so new to politics, some people think that we're going to have one big fight and that would solve the problem. The way a lot of people at the beginning of the Civil War thought that Bull Run would kind of decide who got to win. This argument, this deal, this agreement to begin to claw back some of the Obama overspending. This is Bull Run. This is not Armageddon. This is not the final the fight that decides everything once and for all. This is one of many fights to make the decision about whether we're going to turn into Europe, which is what Obama and the Democrats want, someplace between France and Greece, or return to the United States.
What do you think about the structure of this bipartisan committee that would make recommendations in the future about reductions and the political pressures that might come to bear on that? Because sometimes people just worry, well, won't they just raise taxes? Won't that be the decision that they come to?
Well, I mean, they can hope that, and that's the fig leaf that Obama has given his team. But remember that 12-person commission comes up with suggestions, sends it back. do you believe that the House of Representatives, with all of the Tea Party supported candidates, would vote for a tax increase in 2012 in an election year?
Right.
I think that's on my list of things not to worry a great deal about.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen.
Right, that's another element of it that seems like not such a bad deal to me. And in addition, do Democrats want to make defense cuts? That's supposed to, that's supposed to be the sort of carrot for them, is that Republicans would have to face defense cuts if they don't come up with an agreement on this. But that doesn't seem like something that would make Democrats very happy either in an election year.
Well, and on the other hand, look, both Republicans and Democrats have agreed that there will be, moving forward, some restraining of defense. We had a tremendous build-up during the decisions to occupy Afghanistan and Iraq after those wars. That's not going to continue forever. There's a lot of money to be saved there, and Republicans better than Democrats understand that, because we don't want to waste money on defense. Yeah. We want to spend it wisely.
So as you look at the landscape, how do you think this is going to go down in the House of Representatives?
Oh, I think that there will be some of the guys who had said no before, who, look, when you go to college, they tell you, everybody here was the smartest guy in their high school, and now you got 2,000 people here, and not everybody's going to be the smartest guy at college. And a lot of these freshmen were the most conservative person in their state legislature. They were used to being the one vote no. And in a lot of legislators, that was the right thing to do. You wanted to be the furthest guy to the right, because so many in the legislature were not particularly principled. So you bring all of these guys who were always the most conservative guy in the room, you bring them to Washington, D.C., you put them in the House, and a lot of them just assume that the correct place to be on any given fight is the furthest to the right and say no to leadership. Well, that works, except John Boehner's the leader of the House and is a solid Reagan Republican. So people have to sort of realize not every fight is the final fight, and opposing leadership because they're going to sell you out may have made a lot of sense in the Ohio State Legislature. It's not the correct strategy necessarily in this Republican caucus.
All right. Listen, Grover Norquist, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Morning Majority. Always good to have you.
Glad to be with you.
All right. Thank you.